Hi, my name is Mark David Gerson, and I'm here today to talk to you about writing and the creative process, and today a little bit about me. For more information, before we go on, about me and my work, you can find it at my website, markdavidgerson.com. That's my full name, markdavidgerson.com. You can also contact me through that site. One question that comes up a lot when I'm being interviewed, or just by in classes and workshops, is how I started writing. And the truth is, when I was in school, I hated writing. I would just run screaming from anything remotely creative. I didn't like English class, I didn't like art class, I didn't like anything that called on my creative capacity. In effect, I can say now, I was afraid of it. Then I just thought it was horrible. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to be judged. Anything that involved the potential for judgment made me very uncomfortable, and so I gravitated toward maths and sciences, math in particular, where there may have been multiple ways to get to the answer, but the answer was either right or wrong. And if I could get the answer right, then I couldn't be judged. But my muse, we talked about the muse in a previous video, my muse had different plans for me, and clearly I was cut out to be a writer from day one. I just had to be eased into the process, or if you will, tricked into the process. And I joke that my muse is a trickster, and of course I live in the southwest of the United States, and here in the southwest the trickster energy is talked about a lot, the coyote, for example. My muse is definitely a trickster, and certainly was long before I moved to the southwest. It began when I was in high school, and somehow got myself talked into doing publicity for a high school musical production, and I had to learn how to write press releases. And from that, I began to expand to do more publicity and PR work, and that's what I did when I graduated from college. I was working in public relations, and so I had to do some writing, but it was formulaic writing largely. It felt safer. From there, I got a job at a university in Montreal, where I lived then, and just suddenly had to write newspaper articles. And so again, it expanded a little bit more. And with each step into the next kind of slightly uncomfortable but comfortable enough zone, I expanded my creative reach, if you will. After I left that job, I quit to be a freelance writer and editor, which I was for about 12 years. And at a certain point toward the end of that 12-year period, I was working at a magazine in Toronto, and one of my colleagues encouraged me to go and take a creative writing class that she had taken at the University of Toronto, and I resisted. I did not want to do it, and this colleague of mine, who was so quiet and so almost shy and not even remotely pushy, pushed. And I kind of joked that she was channeling my muse, who was quite intent on having me take this class, which I did ultimately. And it changed my life. It was not my stereotyped fear-based version of what a creative writing class could be, and that had been that you get up, you read your work, the machine guns come out, they shoot you down, you lie in a pool of blood clutching your manuscript, and the workshop goes on. This was anything but. It was nurturing, it was supportive, it was expansive and expanding. And I continued taking workshops from this instructor for quite some time. And that really was the creative opening that allowed me to access my own creativity, to believe that I was creative, and to move forward from there. And it was not long after that, in fact, that the Moonquest, my novel, began to happen to me and through me, which, although I didn't know it when I was writing, it was really a metaphor at one level for my own creative awakening, because it does take place in a story in a mythical time and place where stories have been banned and the storytellers have been put to death, and there is no creativity, there is no vision. And so writing that story, writing through that world, that fantasy world, really was a creative opening for me. That's how I connected with writing, and that's in fact how I connected with teaching as well, because this wonderful instructor, her name is Carol H. Lechner, she's still in Montreal, no, she's in Toronto now. I worked with her individually, and the opening that occurred really opened me up spiritually and creatively, and I began to teach the class, a section of the class of hers that I had taken, and the rest, as they say, is history. And so that's how I most resistantly and most reluctantly followed a heart's desire that I did not even know I possessed, and began to write and began to teach and began to coach and began to share my passion, then unknown, for creativity with you. For more about my work and my creative process, please visit my website at www.markdavidgerson.com. You can contact me there as well. You'll find links to my radio show there and my blog and all kinds of other cool and neat stuff, including excerpts from my books. So surrender to your muse, surrender to your creativity. Have a wonderful and creative day, and thanks for watching.